We are back with another Wuthering Waves video. We are Wuthering playing Wuthering Waves. TTVE_thin. We are live almost every single day, 3:30 p.m. on the weekdays and like 7 a.m., 8 a.m. EST on the weekends. As someone who has gone to college for 2 days in their life, and I've seen multiple videos on game design, and, I feel like I was the perfect person to fix this Whimpering Waste game mode, Weewa as they call it. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I made a video. I'm gonna bring up the video real quick. Gamers, E-Tashed here. Yeah, exactly right. I made a video talking about the game mode, and I absolutely had fun with it. And I actually still have fun with the game mode. I don't think the game mode is the worst thing in the world. I don't. I really don't believe that at all. By the way, well, yeah, say hi to YouTube. New endgame mode Whimpering Waste is amazing. Now, listen, I mean, at the time, even in the video, I was like, okay, I like this, but they don't need to take away TOA. So, what are my problems with Weewa, and what do I think they could do to change this? Because I think there's potential here. This is my account. My account's not built. You guys know me. I don't play my account. So, in before, you got an A. I think there's quite a few things that we could change here. And so, I actually want to pull out the notepad. My first biggest critique off rip is that it took away one tower reset. I think this is the worst change here. There's no reason why we couldn't have tower on a bi-weekly schedule and this be on a monthly schedule. I'm not even saying make this bi-weekly. This could have simply been both of them existing at the same time. Now, I know we're getting the weekly endgame mode coming on Monday or Tuesday, whatever it is. We'll touch on that when it drops, but it feels just kind of like a Hoyoverse route. It really feels like they're doing the Imaginary Theater, Abyss / Pure Fiction, MOC thing. It just doesn't feel good, right? So off the bat, that is my first biggest problem. But so now problems fundamentally with the game mode. The first thing is, doesn't feel like an end game. And what I mean by that is this. There doesn't feel no pressure / danger. At no point in this time, while this game mode is out, I really feel like I'm going to die. I'm going to struggle. It really just feels like artificial struggle. It doesn't feel good to me. One thing that they have in the game, as I just said before we recorded, is Depths of Elusive Realm. When you are in the final stage, if you run out of time, you have an enrage mechanic where the boss is going to one-tap you pretty much. You need to have your perfect dodges, your perfect parries. You need to be on point in order for it to actually function properly, right? And so, actually order you for to beat it. And it gives you a sense of accomplishment when you run out of time and you're fighting that enrage mechanic and you're like, holy shit, I just beat this motherfucker's ass and I didn't get hit once. In this game mode, I'm just fighting the timer, right? And I'm kind of over fighting timer. I'm kind of over the whole fighting the timer thing. It doesn't really feel original. And I was on the podcast with Saint, with Tectone, with Genazad, with Gacha, with Ryuku. Shout out to all of them. You can go watch that podcast. And I brought this up as well. It just does. It feels annoying. I don't care if this was from Honkai Star Rail. I don't care if this was from PGR before. It just doesn't feel like it fits Wuthering Waves. It feels like a ghetto version of Pure Fiction. So, yeah, it's just simply a timer thing. I don't like the fact that this sells AoE units. I'm just going to be honest with you. Again, it feels like a Hoyoverse move. You are going to struggle a lot. No Roshia / Gion, Gion / Zhang Liao, etc. You're gonna have a hard time, and I don't think this is a good way to design endgame. Camilla, you could put whoever in that list. I feel like, again, this is their version of saying, hey, you don't want to skip on this upcoming character on the banner, because if you skip on them, what's going to happen is you're actually going to not get all of your Asterite in Whimpering Waste, and you're going to be fucked, right? Non-Camilla users, you miss Zhang Liao, you miss Roshia, you miss Gion. So it just feels like a way of just selling more units, and I'm not the biggest fan of this. I understand it's a gacha game. All gacha games are inherently predatory. With that being said, Wuwa has been so far the best one in the sense of not really feeling like you have to get a character. Wuwa has been so good at the fact that you can complete everything free to play, and I'm sure you can do this with the Yang Yang. I actually think I saw Say do Yang Yang Barina Havoc Rover. It's definitely doable, but it's like, who's doing that? You know what I'm saying? Just pull better. Yeah. So, the timer, the selling AoE units, I don't like. Obviously, taking away TOA. I think this would be a really good event. When I think of endgame, I guess this kind of ties back into point one, but again, it just doesn't feel. There's no urgency. It doesn't feel like any urgency. It literally just feels like you're going in and you're attacking dummies. Slash AI is horrible. That's what we have to get into. The enemies don't fight back. Slash scatter. 7TV emote. They just scatter, bro. Like, they just scatter away, and it's like, you're even punished for having AoE. Like, it's so fucking stupid. You go into the game mode, and you fucking run over the enemies, and it just fucks up the whole run. And they're just clumped together. They sit down, they spawn, and that is it. It is fighting a punching bag, and there's no fun in that because you have parries, you have dodges. There really is no genuine fucking challenge here. 7TC emote, your mother. 7TV emote. So, not really a fan of this here. I think if they were to actually make the enemies fight back, or you could be in that, you know, circle, but give them some sort of way to punish you, bro. Like, because I don't feel punished at all. So those three were really, really big problems. The fourth one is gonna be the boons, whatever you want to call it. The buffs. The buffs are kind of whack. I do think we need more interesting buffs. Need more interesting slash game changing. What do I mean by that? I think a perfect example of a buff that you can get is Roshia's Tea brings enemies in. There's no reason why you can't have a buff that says adds a gadget that does that, or an ultimate does that. Something to counteract the whole selling AoE units problem, right? That we're not even touching on more gameplay things, because like Elusive Realm really changes the way the game plays. But something in just AoE alone, like if we look at these buffs, some of them are pretty good. All the ones on the bottom are fucking dog shit, but you have to have these basic ones. It makes sense. So I'm not going to criticize this. The flags is after casting intro skill crit damage. Every time a resident deals basic attack damage, their next basic attack does damage. Heavy attack damage, amplification, right? Summons an echo to support you in combat. Does not take damage from the resonators. What the fuck? Okay. After casting Resonant Liberation, increase basic attack damage. Really nothing crazy. This one is good. This one is my favorite, and this one is actually really good with Changli. That's why it's my favorite. Obviously, I love Changli and Zheng Liao. Each time casting Resonance skill reduces Resonance Liberation cooldown by 20%. We need more of these. We need more that change the way you're playing. They change your meters, they change your cooldowns, or they just change straight up your playstyle, right? You could pump out a bunch of Zheng Liao ults, and you'll still be okay. Because of the fact you could just spam the skill. Recovers 3% of Resonator HP. Nobody's dying. Nobody's dying. You know, you're not getting hit, so there's nothing to recover. Amplifies all attribute damage, so on and so forth. Casting intro skill, you get big crit buffs. Casting Resonance Liberation, skill damage, and then this Spectro shit. It's just like, there's nothing really unique about this that screams, hey, this is unique to this game mode. It really is just kind of falls flat in my opinion. So, I mean, these are like my biggest things. I really think they need to fix the AI. They need to fix the buffs. The selling the AoE units suck. Make fucking TOA 2 times a week. And I'm tired of fighting the timer. I don't know if they could actually address this one, fighting the timer, in this. I think the timer is... The whole game mode is around the timer, so there's no way they could actually stop that, but they can absolutely make there be some sort of pressure or danger. So that way, even though you're fighting the timer, you have to think a little bit. You need to dodge, you need to parry. You just don't really do that. Also, all of the waves of the enemies are the same. Like Tech said that. There's nothing else. Do I mean resetting it back to 2 weeks? Yes, bring that shit back to 2 weekly resets. There's no reason for it to be bi-weekly. It's fucking dumb, right? Am I missing anything? Does anyone else have any closing thoughts before we wrap this up? I think this game mode was fun. I have fun with it because sometimes it's cool to just turn your brain off and fucking just see what the limits could go. So I absolutely think it's fun. I think it's a decent base, but overall there's a lot of fundamental flaws, and it feels very Hoyoverse like, which I don't like. As we all know, anything WoW does that isn't in the relevance of Hoyoverse normally winds up being the worst part of their game. So let's see. I think making an enemy elite drop like a vacuum when they die, that'd be cool. Really needs to be compared to the PGR one. The PGR one nukes is screen wide and AoE can't miss. Oh, also make the circle / battlefield smaller. This absolutely combats the problem of not having AoE, or if they run away, you're still fine. I think there's no reason why I could be on the left side of the screen and I'm fighting one enemy and there's 50 that I have to run to, grapple and run, and Camilla is not hitting in her AoE and I can't suck them in with burst. I think the battlefield's way too big, and it's way too big, and because again, it's amplifying the CC. They want you to have CC, right? So yeah, Unga Bunga, do you think perfect dodge perfect dodge and parry should reward points? I think that as well. I think the point system could be adjusted a little bit. I think the point system points can be a bit more giving, but I don't even think not big problem. I think that's okay. Like, I feel like that's the least of my worries, right? I think that's the least of my worries. At the end of the day, enemy AI, enemy design, boons, making this completely AoE's trash. I would love a day when they just add a fucking bunch of bosses. Like, I think there's no reason why one rotation, it can't be top side as bosses, bottom side as mob. So that way it's a little bit more even out. And so that way, the way you can make that more free to play, by the way, which is, this is fucking genius. Oh my God, guys, this is why you go to college for 2 days and then drop out, right? If the top side is bosses with much less health, right? Much less health, or big elites, and you can go through these single target enemies. You can get to level 9, level 10, level 7, whatever it is. You can carry yourself on the top half, so the bottom half, you don't have to be as heavy with your efficiency. And that also legitimately counteracts selling AoE units, right? So, yeah, I think overall, it's fun, but it fucking needs work, and it needs a lot of work. And I hope that they listen to feedback and don't just kind of leave it alone. And I hope they bring back the 2 weekly TOAs, man. I mean, the bi-weekly TOA, man, because that shit was fun. No bi-weekly TOA is fucking whack. So, yeah. Yeah, I think that's it. Anything else, or what about the rebuff stages where you lose HP over time the longer you take the higher? Yeah, I think that's okay. I think that's fine, too, you know. All right, cool. With that being said, boys, I love you. I'll see you in the next one. Mwah, I'm out this bitch.